Now, we want to understand how we can establish on what feels fair. All relationships have trade offs, but for a relationship to be sustainable, each person has to have enough of their needs met, and each must give things up. Over time, the benefits have to exceed the costs. As relationships develop and each person allows themselves to be more fully known through self disclosure, the two of them can learn how to increase the benefits and reduce the costs. At the core of functional relationships is a rough equity between two people, not necessarily mathematical in nature, which produces a sense of what feels fair. Eventually, you may feel exploited, even if your benefits exceed your costs. Now, if you believe that the other is getting an even better deal, you don't have to constantly do cost benefit analysis or be perfectly in balance at every moment. Okay. What matters is that over time, people see a rough equivalence. Now, assessing the benefits and costs in a relationship isn't a rational tally of pluses and minuses. It's not a mathematical exercise, nor it should be. What each person values is highly subjective. Another person must highly value certain things, but the other people might not view it in the same way. Societal values, background, and personal history all influence the way someone assesses the costs and benefits in a relationship. We are also influenced by comparison with others. Okay. It's crucial that each person must be clear on what they want as well as knowing what the other wants. Okay. So, how are we supposed to know what you and the other want? Now, first indicator emotions. They can be very great signposts. When we give credence to our feelings as an important indicator of what we really want, we can have a good place to start. Unfortunately, we tend to judge the appropriateness of the needs and complaints raised by others from the perspective of our own needs and values. Think of it like the curse of knowledge. Sometimes we think that what we know is the same thing as what the other people would know, which is not necessarily true. And when we discuss our needs and satisfactions, we're more likely to develop a solution that works for everyone. And that's the key part. When we really want to go into that discussion about our own needs, about the other person's needs, only then can we actually come up with a possible solution. Now, the second step in trying to rebalance, okay, the first step was about the emotions. Once you've clarified the wants, is to reassess whether arrangements you've made in the past would need to be adjusted or tweaked, okay, or if they need to be maintained. Agreements that feel right at one point in time don't necessarily work well later on. Conditions change in all relationships. For example, new work opportunities, family members get sick, sometimes very seriously, and definitely people age. When individuals become locked into past agreements, that they become inflexible with things that have been agreed upon years ago, they run the risk that their own growth and the growth of their relationship will stall. The best relationships continue to evolve as each person discovers new needs, seeks different benefits, and learns to deal with and let go of prior limitations. Problems arise, though, when people grow at different rates and in different directions, producing a strain on their relationship. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be a hopeless case. The danger, on the other hand, is that one or even both parties stop growing just to avoid conflict. Now, reassessing relationship agreements isn't simple. It's apt to result in change, definitely, and change often triggers resistance. How is this going to turn out? Will I have to give up something that is really important to me or incur a cost I am not prepared to pay? Changes also brings unpredictability. How am I going to respond? How is this person going to respond? And maybe sometimes guilt. Why did we not do this before? Be prepared for this, not to be solved in one discussion, okay? And for it to feel bad and frustrating before it gets resolved. Don't worry, these things happen. It's a journey. It's important that we have to reassess relationships as we go along the way. What's important is that we don't assume that it's going to be an easy thing.